Welcome back to Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn. Last time we found out the reason why Dayan was forced to cooperate with the Senate, because Pelleas is dumb and was tricked into signing literal magic blackmail. Now, they have no choice but to fight, otherwise everyone will magically drop dead. Or do they? Pelleas says he's found a solution to their problem. Unfortunately, it's a solution that will come with a heavy cost.
Dayan launches a surprise attack against the Apostle's army, devastating her forces. It is all Apostle Soniki can do to allay her remaining troops' burning desire for revenge. She knows that there is no hope of victory if her weakened forces are divided. However, she cannot move forward while danger follows at her back. This dilemma weighs heavily on the Apostle's troops, crushing their morale. Meanwhile, the Dayan forces pull back to the fastness of Nox Castle. Micaiah, unable to explain her mission to her soldiers, keeps Dayan's army together through sheer force of will.
And that lance I forged for Aaron earlier in the game was prophetic. I'd actually forgotten about the name of that castle. So here it is, Castle Nox. This will be the scene of our battle this time, but before the battle we have something very important to go over. Two things actually. The first is that Sephiron's release has been very significant for Bednion. In the extended script, Soph mentions that Tormod is the one who gave him this information. So again, more role for Tormod that was cut out of this version of the script. You'd think, but the moment things start going south for the Senators, they're probably going to activate the Blood Pact. This sequence is slightly different in the localization. It's not really that much of a major change. Pelleas mentions Duke Gados more specifically. He says that if the Senate is destroyed, he would drag our country to the grave with him. And again, this line is not in the Japanese version at all. Here's the thing, though. Micaiah's not gonna like what he has to say. In the extended script, Pelleas mentions that that wasn't just a secret room, it was a secret room that had many treasures belonging to previous kings of Dayan. And there actually is a very good reason why a room containing belongings of previous kings would contain this information, but we'll get to that later, so I'm annoyed that detail was lost in this version as well. So this speech is mostly the same in the extended script, except that before it, Pelleas adds humans are selfish, which is actually a pretty poignant detail. There's an extra line here in the extended script where Pelleas actually has a bit of philosophical musing where he says he's glad that the pack didn't ask him to kill himself because he believes taking your own life is a sin against the goddess. As essentially, in the Japanese version, it's said that suicide doesn't work here. So now we have a choice. Which of these two you choose, the result is the exact same. So it's more in terms of which you personally would do in this situation. In my opinion, I like this version better. Well, firstly, it's a version that I don't think is shown very often, at least not to my knowledge. But secondly, it's because I feel like I don't see Micaiah being able to go through with this herself. I really don't think she could do it. So this is the one that makes sense to me from a story standpoint. This line from Toronto obviously only happens if you choose the pass the burden to another option. It's skipped over if you have Micaiah kill him personally. So at this point, Almeida pretty much completely loses her mind. This is what I was saying earlier when I feel Almeida is a very interesting character towards the end of this part. Cue happy bass music! Yeah, that's terrible. I think the game shouldn't have used this bass theme here. But anyway, so we killed Pelleas and we found out that it was entirely for nothing. Killing him would not end the curse of the Blood Pact. If only we had a way to turn back time and reverse that decision. So, I kind of lied earlier. You do have a third choice here, except only on a second playthrough. And this is the main reason why I did a second playthrough file. Well, this and a few other things. This is the first major piece of second playthrough exclusive content. You have the option to refuse to kill Pelleas, and knowing that killing him won't help us, that's the option that we should choose here. This is a somewhat significant story branch in this game. Obviously, choosing not to kill him changes a lot of things later on. It will also get us something special that's exclusive to a second playthrough later on. So the first time I chose this, I was actually pretty freaked out because this conversation is the exact same as the pass the burden to another option. For most of it at least, but don't worry, you haven't messed up here. This will eventually diverge. Skipping through this because it's exactly the same as what we've already seen. But here comes the change. Well, I mean, you know how much knives suck in this game. Micaiah's totally fine. Even with her bad defense, she's gonna survive a knife hit. Remember this exchange for later. Yeah, so here you get a little bit more insight into Pelleas' mindset. It isn't just the fact that he believes death is his only option. He actually really does want to die because of all the pain he's caused. Knowing this, it's funny. I know he's really stupid in that scene with Lekane, but I still kind of find it hard to hate him after this scene. Especially everything that his mother goes through, and in particular, just how distraught Almeida gets if you do kill him. And she gets even worse in later chapters. She completely loses it. We'll find out Almeida's full story later in the game, but suffice to say, she's probably had some of the most suffering of any character in this game. Her life has been absolute hell, and making it even worse would just be so much more painful. And Micaiah passes out now. So just to reiterate, this version of the scene is exclusive to a second playthrough. On your first playthrough, Pelleas is doomed to die. Cue happy bass music! Okay, now the happy bass music kind of makes sense again. So, anyway, I'm going to start out doing these bass conversations. This is going to be a very important bass for a few reasons. Well, Edward has, you not so much. Well, the Laguz Alliance and the Apostles' Army are kind of the same thing. It's like, Edward is hopelessly optimistic sometimes, but I actually like that. Also, some nice insight into the relationship between these two. Which, yeah, according to the developer's notes, Edward actually saved Leonardo's life. Also, this is an insanely good present. I've been waiting for this for a very long time. The Tempest Blade. S rank, but thankfully Edward has an S rank in swords now. 18 might and 5 crit, although I believe it had 0 crit in the Japanese version, but it's not like it even needed the extra crit. 18 might is equal to Ragnall and Alondite. It does only have 55 hit and only 20 uses, but the accuracy penalty is nothing to a true blade. I love the Tempest Blade, it's amazing, at least until, well, let's just say later in the game. But the Tempest Blade is one of the best swords we have access to at this point, so let's get rid of the Wind Edge for now. And Helping Hand is kind of a weird conversation. This one is sort of comic relief, but it is one of the very few instances of Aaron and Laura interactions we even get in this game, which is saying something. Yes, of course. Please grow a personality. Yeah, these two really do not have a lot of personality at all. I wish they had supports. Although this conversation is a little funny, I will admit. I think you can all tell what happens. Yep, that was a Sleep Staff. And the Sleep Staff is going to be very, very useful in this upcoming chapter. Very useful. So, Micaiah. She can take the Sleep Staff. There is one problem with Micaiah right now, though. In fact, let me just quickly look this up to make sure that I will actually be able to fix this. Because I might not. Let's just say that I really should have had Micaiah fight a little bit more in the previous chapter. Because Micaiah's about to get something, and with the rank she has in light magic currently, she can't use it. Please, please tell me it's B ranked. If it's A ranked, I'm gonna get really mad. Please tell me it's B ranked. It is B ranked. Okay, good. So I can use an arm scroll. I really didn't want to have to use an arm scroll for this, but I might need to, because this is actually part of the chapter's core gimmick. Micaiah having access to this thing, and it's in fact the only real way Micaiah will be fighting at all in this chapter, so let's go ahead and do this. B rank in light. It's a bit of a waste since she was already halfway to a B rank, but she won't be hitting B rank during this chapter for certain reasons. So what I want to do here is I want to convoy the Anne Herb because she's really not going to need it, and let's go ahead and I think I'm going to have you... where is Laura? Because you have better range than Laura thanks to your magic stat, so you'll probably be better served taking sleep. Oh, wait, no, that's what I want to do. I want to convoy light. Because I will need a second physics staff on Micaiah, which we could buy from bargains, but I want to keep Micaiah's inventory free because she'll be getting one extra light tome before the chapter begins, and that's why I needed to arm scroll her up to a B rank for. As for everyone else, Soph could really use better knives. Steel, it's a dagger, not a knife. Let's just convoy those. I just want to get his inventory a little bit decluttered. I might actually buy a stronger knife for Soph, because he's going to be getting height bonus on some enemies in this chapter. Toronio's totally fine on weapons for now, although I might want to trade that Silver Lance to Aaron, because Toronio is hopefully going to need nothing more than the Javelin in this chapter, so let's go ahead and swap that over. And Toronio does a lot of damage with the Steel Lance anyway. Volug, I'm going to swap that Concoction over to, I think, Jill. Yeah, that on Nolan, but I think I might go for Jill. You're still fine. Now, Nolan with the Tuck is going to be kind of fun in this chapter, but I'll get to that later. Edward, in terms of weapons, I think is decently fine for now. Now, Jill, I think she's really got the best weapons that she can have at this point. I think everyone else is alright in terms of items. anything in the convoy that's going to be... I don't think anything in the convoy is going to be useful. So, we didn't get any extra gold this chapter. So I might actually have to sell some things. Let's see. Might as well sell some of my low-use weapons. Don't think I'll need that iron sword either. Might not even need that. Have a whole bunch of these steel lances. Might as well sell a couple of these. Don't really know how much I'm going to end up being able to afford here. Yeah, I have a lot of hand axes. I'm fine keeping those. I may as well sell some steel bows, because this is really the only bow I need on Leonardo at this point. Might as well keep that for Rolf later. Obviously, do not want to sell that. That's actually going to be useful. Don't want to sell any of my staves, because they're going to be useful. Even Torch, I might want to keep that for later. And yeah, it's a good thing that's in the convoy, because that will help. And I think that is... Don't sell Beast Foe. Definitely don't sell Beast Foe. So in the shop, we have some interesting bargains. We have another Storm Sword. Not so useful when we have the Tempest Blade, but I guess if you want a backup option. Holy crap, Silver Longbow is expensive and totally not worth it, because, yeah, third-tier archers can attack at 3 range anyway. We also have a Stiletto, which is not as good as the Beast Killer, even though it's an A-rank dagger. It does have a massive chance of a crit, but in this game, I believe... Let me check the Serenade's Forest, just to make sure that I'm getting this right. But I'm pretty sure it's not effective against armors in this game. No, it is not effective against armors in this one, so yeah. That's kind of a shame, as if knives needed to be any weaker. It's also a one-range restricted knife. Now, here's something really bizarre I find about bargains here. Why the heck are they selling Blizzard? Nobody in the Dawn Brigade can use this. I really don't know why. Like, maybe they're like, oh yeah, you should keep it for... Let's just say that we will be able to trade items between the Dawn Brigade and later parties later on. Or, I don't know, you could give it to Zehak, because we will get another opportunity to recruit Zehak and Jill into the Grail Mercenaries soon. You could give it to Zehak or Jill, recruit them in the next chapter, and then give it to Soren, but that's still really strange. Oh, by the way, something that I haven't mentioned yet, the Accept Wyverns part of this description was added in the European version. That wasn't in the American version, and it was actually wrong, because it's not effective against Wyverns. Gonna go ahead and buy this extra physics staff from Micaiah, obviously. Because physic on Micaiah is extremely important in 3.13. It's one of the only ways she'll be useful here, so yeah, you will need that. Don't think I need the elixir. Let's see what else. An extra short axe is tempting. And again, like, no one here can use Thoron either. Because, like, at first I was thinking, oh yeah, maybe, You know, I'm wondering something. The fact that Mist is programmed to not be able to attack Ileana, despite the fact that Mist and Ileana are never on opposite sides, combined with the fact they're selling these now, which theoretically a third-tier Ileana could use, these wind tomes, I mean. Maybe they originally did plan for you to be able to recruit Ileana back into the Dawn Brigade. That would have made sense, and maybe that's why they're selling these in bargains, because still, I don't get why Blizzard is being sold here. No one can use it at this point. But anyway, it's either the Storm Sword or the Short Axe is very tempting. I do have admittedly another Storm Sword and a Tempest Blade, so it's not really that necessary. I have a couple of Short Axes and a Tomahawk, though. And I actually don't have a lot of Short Spears. But you know what they say in this game, axes are better than everything, so let's go ahead and buy that. In terms of the armory, the low accuracy of the Silver Blade could work against Edward. I don't really need the Silver Sword. Collad Bulg is basically the same, but better. Killing Edge might be kind of nice, but I don't know. Could buy a Killer Axe, but actually, how is it in the accuracy front? It's pretty good in the accuracy front. Because I practiced this chapter and Jill ended up having accuracy problems, so buying that might not be a bad thing. I'm pretty much running myself out of gold, but let's just say that gold won't be as much of an issue soon. Oh, I was going to buy a better knife for Soft, dang it. Well, are there better knives? I'm going to have to sell something. I doubt I'll be needing that. Let's just go ahead and sell a bunch of N herbs. Okay, that's fine. Right, now, it's ironic. The Dawn Brigade is the party that's having money issues for me rather than the Grail Mercenaries. And that's usually because I usually like to keep one of the gems that you get in one endgame with the Dawn Brigade, but I didn't in this playthrough. Okay then, can't buy a silver knife, but I suppose I could go for a steel. Yeah, it is 4 times stronger than a bronze knife, though that's not saying much. The silver one might be somewhat effective, though. Really, all I want is for Salt to snipe some things from above a ledge and gain a bunch of experience. That's really all I need to do here. Speaking of experience, bonus... Okay, I'll actually do... No, I'll do skills later. I'll do this first. So, I'm at a bit of a dilemma here. I don't have as much bonus experience as I thought I would. I could level 20 third tier somebody, but that would be the only person who I bonus experience this chapter. And I want to bonus experience Aaron, Edward, Nolan, and Jill in a certain combination, and I just don't have enough bonus experience for them all. So, first things first, Edward is going to level 15. That much I'm absolutely sure of. Now, please get... Okay, good, skill and speed, because him capping those quickly is going to really help. Because that guarantees he'll gain luck on this level. And defense. Defense is probably more important than luck. So, that's somewhat decent, I guess. Now, I suppose I can level up Nolan once. I actually might not end up leveling up Nolan as much with bonus experience here. Though that is admittedly, yeah, that is cap skill. Because with the strategy that I plan on using, which involves this, Nolan's going to be gaining a ton of experience during this chapter. So you will be leveling up very, very quickly. This is like 3-6 in that there are tons of enemy Lagoos to fight here. But that's the thing. Okay, I'm going to get Aaron to 12. But here's the thing. I have 2 Master Crowns, and if I'm going to be using them here, I'm probably going to have to use them early. I don't think I have enough bonus experience to get everyone to 2020. Aaron is looking pretty decent, but he needs a couple more points of speed. So I might actually have to early 3rd tier Edward, because I really want him to be 3rd tier because I plan on having him get his revenge on Mia, which, by the way, is going to be ridiculously hard. Because I forgot about, yeah, this is going to be really bad, and probably very, very biorhythm dependent as well. And also, I really should not have forged Grey Render for Mia earlier. This is going to make this so much harder. I could try and force her to equip a Wind Edge, though. Even with a Wind Edge, she's still absolutely terrifying. I probably should have taken Adept off of her. But anyway, speaking of Adept, I might actually have to give it to Edward now, off of Zihar. But anyway... Thing is, I was actually planning on 3rd tiering Edward and Aaron in this chapter, and then I realized something. Yeah. So Aaron's destined rival is not going to be in this chapter at all. And in the next chapter, where we'll have control of Nephany again, the chances of her fighting Aaron are very, very low, so I don't think we'll be able to do a destined duel there. So, in terms of my destined duels, Edward is higher priority for me to be promoting. And because of that, I have someone else that I want a 3rd tier here, and it's going to be either Nolan or Jill. Nolan is honestly fine the way he is. He can kill everything in this chapter, except for certain things, guaranteed, with the combination that I plan on having him use. So really at this point, it's going to be just, let's just bonus experience Jill up a ton. Because here's the other thing. Bonus experiencing up Aaron at this point will give him a few more points of speed. Bonus experiencing Edward up will just give him more luck. Bonus experiencing Jill has a chance of giving her more strength, and strength is much more important than luck. She's not wanting to gain it, though. She's really not wanting to gain it. This is a problem. Well, she gained it there. Mostly because almost all of her other stats are capped. Yeah, do I go for one more? Okay, one more bonus experience level is all I can do. So it's going to go to either Edward or to Nolan, or I guess I could give it to Aaron if I really, really wanted, but nah. I think Aaron with 25 defense is fine in this chapter. Since he can't fight his destined rival, I'm fine not having him promote here. Whereas Jill, her being promoted could really help. It might be the only shot I have of maybe taking out some of the, let's just say, optional bosses in this chapter. Yeah, I'll probably level up Jill and not Edward, because Edward will just be getting one more luck, one more defense, and one more resistance most likely, whereas Jill might gain one more strength. I should probably save reload for this if she doesn't gain strength, but I'm confident. She gains strength, that's fine. So that's looking pretty good, and I think with that, I'm going to be using my Master Crowns now. It does bug me not to promote at level 20, but 3rd tiers are so ridiculously powerful that you don't really need maximum stats. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So Master Crown for Edward. I'm so glad that I have 2 Master Crowns here, and then for Jill. So, let's go for Edward's promotion first. Getting a sneak preview of the battle background here. I probably should have had him equip Collad Bolt, but oh well. And thus, Edward gains the Jacket of Awesomeness. Edward is by far my favourite 3rd tier Swordmaster design. Extra 2 defense isn't bad, but Mia having capped defense is going to be a problem. However, Edward has ridiculous strength, so hopefully the 2 balance each other out. So yeah, here is 3rd tier Edward. He now has Astra. It's Astra, not this. And critical plus 20, which is likely not going to help him at all. I guess I'll give you back the Vulnerary. And now, it is time for the rise of Dragon Lord Jill. Guess what? She doesn't wear a helmet! That's one thing she has over her, in my opinion. Is it just me, or did her armor get pinker? Anyway, now that Jill is 3rd tier, the enemy is doomed. That wasn't a joke, that was a fact. So, yeah, Jill's stats are a lot more balanced than hers are. She doesn't hit as hard or have as high defense, though her defense is still ridiculous, but she's also a lot faster. So I hope Jill will be able to contribute decently in this one. Let's see. Might as well take one of the javelins. And now, skill management. This is going to be very, very important. I still want Micaiah to keep discipline, because even though I use an arm scroll, I will want to get her light rank up more before endgame, so that I can hopefully have her at an SS in light. Nolan, though, he's going to need to make room, and unfortunately he needs to get rid of Resolve in order to fit what I want to fit here. Because Nolan is getting Beast Foe. There is a reason why Nolan is getting Beast Foe, and it's gonna be very, very hilarious. But first, let's see, who gets other stuff? I should probably give Aaron something. Edward doesn't need Paragon anymore, so I'm gonna take that. And Paragon's probably gonna go to either... Annoyingly, Nolan cannot fit both Beast Foe and Paragon, thanks to Shove being 5 capacity. Taking Nolan's Nile and giving it to someone else... Maybe Edward might not be a bad idea, but Nile is a heck of a lot of capacity. It would probably require Edward to remove Cancel. But it might be the one chance he gets. Though, admittedly, I kind of want to keep skills on Mia because I want to see how insane the duel gets. Having Adept and Astra on both sides of a fight can get pretty fun. So in this case, in fact, speaking of Adept, I normally wouldn't do this, but I might need it. That is going to be all of his capacity, though. So, let's see. I could remove parity for Vantage. In fact, Vantage on Nolan might be a decent idea, even though he won't have as much chance of activating it as some other people. Let's go ahead and take that, which didn't activate at all in the last chapter, so Vantage has not had a good track record for me in this playthrough. Let's get rid of parity, because I'm not going to need it. There's very little defensive terrain on this map at all. Although parity could help in negating supports. That's actually not a bad idea. You see, we are going to be fighting enemies who have supports, and depending on what supports you've set up, parity can be really useful in this chapter. But I'm actually going to go ahead and give Nolan Vantage, because Vantage, Beast Foe, Crossbow is a great combo in this map. As for Aaron, okay, either he or Jill will take Resolve. Jill's already decently fast, though. I wonder if I should give Jill... Nah, Jill's not going to be fighting much that has, anything support related. So the question is, because I can't give Edward Resolve because I gave him Adept. Resolve is probably the only way Edward's going to be able to double a certain enemy, but doesn't seem like I can afford to fit it on him. I could give Aaron Resolve, but he's not likely to be going down to low HP, although he might if the Tigers get lucky. Yes, there will be Tigers in this chapter. Paragon Jill is tempting, but Aaron is still stuck as a second tier for now. I would love to have Paragon on Nolan, but he can't fit it with Beast Foe, like I said. Might as well put parity on him. Unless... Okay, the downside of parity on Jill is it will cancel her on Resolve and Stun. Whereas Aaron does not have an enemy instantly die skill. I'm pretty sure Paragon doesn't get cancelled by parity either. Oh yeah, I was going to remove Imbue. Actually, please tell me that Jill can fit this. I don't think she can, but... No, she can't because of Kanto. That's annoying because Jill makes very good use of Imbue. Anyone else want Imbue, though? Yeah, see, Edward's magic is pretty low. He can't really make that great use of Imbue. Actually, Imbue's better on Toronio. Let's keep it on him for now. Massively better on Toronio. And I think that is everything. Wrath might actually be a factor in this fight. I'm just realizing that. Though he does need to go down to 30% HP, which is a very dangerous place for him to be in this chapter. But I think that's all the preparations that I want to do. Okay, let's just check supports. Also, apparently Laura putting Aaron to sleep got them to an A support. Now, the only reason I'm doing this is just because I kind of ship this and I wish they had a paired ending. They don't have a paired ending, so this support's going to be pretty useless during this chapter, but oh well. Well, at least you two can raise your support rank. All my other supports are fine, but Micaiah's support's not really going to help in this map. Can Toronio support... Actually, that's not bad. Technically speaking, Aaron and Laura's support is useless. Who can Jill support? A lot of people who already have supports with other people that I want more. Actually, wait, can Aaron and Jill support each other? They can. I suppose getting into an A with Laura was just like for demonstration purposes only. This is actually going to really help me in this chapter, even though it's only +5 avoid and +1 defense. Yeah, that should be good. Okay, let's move out. And generic enemy music for Tibon and his Hawks. Wow, 10,000? That's a pretty big estimate. And in the standard script, Janeth mentions how it's like a sea of black armor over there. Yeah, we have 4 combined armies here. Squimir has a line here in the extended script where he mentions Laguz and Bjork fighting one-on-one. I don't need to tell you who's going to win. Basically, he says even if they had the same numbers, we'd easily beat them. Oh, if only they knew. Yeah, we have to end this fight quickly. Wait a minute, why am I talking like I'm on their side? I'm actually going to be fighting against them in this chapter, so obviously this battle's not going to be ended quickly. Actually, wait, there is one way to end it quickly, but it is fairly difficult. Oh no, are the enemies going to have a heron? I also like the snowy background here. I believe this is one of the only times we see this. In the extended script, Nyla also says, there's like no way I'm letting Raphael join the battle by himself, I'm coming too. This is actually referenced in Micaiah's death quote during this chapter. If Micaiah dies, Ike says, "I'm sorry, Soph, I wasn't able to keep my promise." Oh, hi, Meg on the map screen. Yeah, I'm not going to be deploying you here. That's a whole ton of Lagoos and Ike. And this line is different depending on if you chose to kill or spare Pelleas. If you killed him, Micaiah, I believe, says Pelleas's death will have been in vain. And she still says this even if he died. And even though this is not an endgame, we get the more dramatic preparations music. Just as a bit of a preview here. Yep, Ike's the boss. We're doomed. And by the way, Ike's A support with Soren still works. And Soren's here, and he's 3rd tier. Yeah. And let's just say we won't have to deal with just Ike in this chapter. So, just as a bit of a preview here, I am going to be battle saving in this chapter, but I'm not going to be doing it until the last 2 turns. So I'll be playing through the first 12 turns as normal. You can end this early by defeating Ike. It's actually not that difficult if you lure him in and then put him to sleep with the sleep staff you got out of the phase conversation, because sleeping characters are automatically hit by attacks. So if you put Ike to sleep, you can just wail on him, and it's not that hard to end this map early. But I'm going to be playing it the full thing because something kind of special happens in the last 2 turns. Something that I might want to do something with. So, see you then for one of my favorite chapters.